This is dura.
No, she changed.
Yeah,
What's
this
the
is
key?
dura now.
So now the top layer is different.
Yeah, this is dura. That's arachnoid. That's gonna be the other one. That has to be
Dura, arachnoid, and the last
Because
one.
if this is arachnoid, this is the other one. This has
And then pink we don't
Saying
worry
that
about.
this is the derma, don't worry about the pink. Derma, arachnoid, and pia.
This is pia.
Pia. Right here.
Oh, I
This is
saw
the
it.
pia. This is the arachnoid, and this is the derma. She said, don't worry about the pink.
Yeah, it was different in another one.
These spinal nerves. So we have the cervical plexus. So just so we know, a plexus is just it's a group of nerves, okay? And so for the cervical plexus, we're thinking about, so the ventral rami, kind of recall that when we have the spinal nerve, it will then branch into a dorsal and ventral arm, or ramus, okay? The cervical plexus is formed by the ventral rami of C1 spinal nerves, C1 through C4. Okay, their ventral rami come together to form what will then become the actual nerves. So we have a cutaneous branch that innervates the skin and the neck. Let me get my lab manual. So let's try to fill out our lab manual. Looking at that as we're working.
I smell it here, but I don't want to work here.
So note that there's the superior on our model, or on our manual. It has a superior root and an inferior root that are connected by the ansa cervicalis. That's just a connection between the anterior root and the inferior root. These are just fibers running that will then become our rami. So C1 and C4 on our model goes to C1 and C4, but then there's also C5 there on our manual, and that's okay. Okay. And then these are just what gets innervated. So we have a cutaneous branch. So like in your book, instead of saying sensory, it's calling it cutaneous, and that just means sensation at the skin. Cutaneous means skin, okay? So we're talking about the skin and the neck, head, and so forth. And then the muscular branch, now we're talking about moving muscles, innervating muscles. So all of these muscles will get innervated by the cervical plexus. And it's the nerves of the cervical plexus. Okay, the main nerve, or not main, but major nerve is the phrenic nerve. Okay, major motor and sensory, because it controls the diaphragm. If you have any damage to the phrenic nerve, you will not be able to breathe. So that should be on your list. For phrenic nerve, what function will be lost if affected? No breathing. Which is straight death. Right? Also, any irritations to the phrenic nerve, not damage, but just irritations, that causes hiccups. Okay? Which one? Right, that causes irritation. What will cause and irritate our nerves? Yeah, that's a good question. How can a nerve get irritated? Could be some inflammation, maybe, some kind of swelling around that nerve. So if there's inflammation at the tissue, so just to answer later your question, if there's inflammation of the tissue, swelling, that could be some pressure on the phrenic nerve, right? Instead of a straight up dysfunction, is just some disturbance. Okay, so here's how a plexus looks, right? We have all of the spinal nerves and then their rami. The rami kind of group together. You see how it is when you draw it. It get really complicated, so we don't really worry about all this entanglement. We want to come here, because eventually at the ends of all this entanglement, we're going to end up with what we call the branches. And those are the nerves that we give names, like the phrenic nerve. Okay, the accessory nerve. There's the ansa cervicalis, this is connection. Okay? And so all the nerves which are on in your manual. Okay? So for a test, I would have the picture that's in your manual. I wouldn't ask you to draw this one. I would have this picture though, and I would cover up something. All right, cover up everything there. But then I'll put, say like on your C1, you should know everything about this as far as what's in the first, I'm gonna call it column. So on my cheat sheet for cervical plexus, I would have my first column, and I write it just like this: superior root, ansa cervicalis, inferior root. And so that I know if I look at this picture, first column to me is right here. Okay? My second column, I would put C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, all the way down. So that if I ask you about C5 and I have a letter like B right there, you know on your cheat sheet, your 1, 2, 3, 4, your fifth thing in your second column is C5. You get what I'm saying? That's how I would do my cheat sheet. And then I do my last column, I would call it the branches. So I know it's the names of the nerves. That's what we call branches. All of these in order. Top down, the phrenic nerve is the bottom. Okay? And I will list them all so that if I take away what's on your list, should be 1, 2, 3. If I put a letter here for number 4 in that list, then you have it written down in this order that it is on this page. Number 4 for the branches column, the supraclavicular nerve. See? I would write my columns for the cervical plexus just the way they're written here. So when I put a letter in the place of one of these, you know what column and what number down that column. You get what I'm saying? I will not ask you to draw this, but you should know what's for each column. 3 columns here. Don't forget phrenic nerve is at the last one in the last column, your branches column. Okay? There's cervical plexus again. Again, we're not worried about all this entanglement. But we definitely want to know the names of the nerves. They're supraclavicular. Okay? But we want to know it via this picture. It's a little more organized. Cervical plexus is over there on the flat green guy, wherever he is on the room. The flat green guy has the cervical plexus on it. Okay? Line, you remember the scalene? The scalene muscles, you remember those? Lying on top is the phrenic nerve. I like to ask about phrenic nerve here. But I can ask about phrenic nerve on this picture too. It'll look just like this. That's a dead giveaway. This is phrenic nerve. He's all the way over here on the bottom of this picture by himself. Phrenic nerve. Okay? But phrenic nerve is also here on the flat green guy laying on top of the scalene.
Where's he?
Oh yeah. That is the phrenic nerve. There's a phrenic nerve in the body. Then again on that bottle, that is the phrenic nerve. I'll pull that out in a bit. All right, brachial plexus. This is what we need to definitely know. And we're gonna try to remember things by Randy Travis, Grace Cold Beard. You know who Randy Travis is? So here we have a network of nerve fibers, which is what a plexus is. Okay? And these are the nerves that are going to innervate the pectoral girdle all the way down the upper limb. Okay, so our brachial plexuses are here. Okay, they're formed by the ventral rami. Remember those spinal nerves split into a dorsal ramus and a ventral ramus. Right? The ventral rami of spinal nerves C5 through C8. Some people have, and T1. Some people have up to C4 and go all the way to C2, depending on the person. Those are where they're going to form that big mesh until we get to finally the branches. And the mesh consists of the roots, trunks, divisions, and cores. This is what we're gonna have to remember. Okay, so you ready? So the roots are the ventral rami, C5 through T1. Let's go to brachial plexus on your in your manual. Already labeled for us, roots, C5 down to T1. This is the only thing that plexus that I would actually draw out on my cheat sheet. Because any one of those, and I would do it in color like this. Any one of those, I'm going to slap a letter on it and ask you to name that trunk, name that division, name that root, name that branch. Okay? Alrighty, then we'll go to the trunks where we have an upper, middle, and lower. Okay? So the roots are actually gonna come together, merge together in different combinations to form the trunks. And then we'll have the upper, middle, and lower trunks. Those will then divide, we'll get some division into divisions. Anterior, each trunk will have an anterior and posterior division. And then those will merge together in different combinations to form the chords, lateral, medial, and posterior. And then those will give rise to our branches. Okay, so I actually need to put this picture in my lecture. Okay, so that's how the brachial plexus looks, kind of running out or down our shoulder, and then the branches head on down to innervate. Okay. We can actually see this on the flat green guy as well. Okay. Let me get to, okay. Let's see if I have, okay, this is the one I want to get to. Alrighty. Let me try to do it the way it is. So, your roots are C5 down to T1. Alright? Now, your trunks that are in red. You have your upper trunk, I would write, or you can call it superior. I wrote superior on mine. But I would write over that red line, superior or upper. And the next one is the middle. I would write on top of that line, that middle, that red line, middle. And then the lower. So we got Randy, Travis. Now let's go to the drinks, the divisions. The upper trunk is going to divide into its anterior and posterior division. So I put an A on top of that purple line. The anteriors are purple, the posteriors are green. You see that?
Yeah.
On your
Can you see the anterior posterior on here for the bottom one is flipped?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
yes, and I'm gonna
Alright.
tell you correctly. So anterior, right? That top purple line is anterior, and then that green line off of the superior trunk is its posterior division. So I put A for anterior on mine and P for posterior. And then we go to the middle. That purple coming off of the middle trunk, that's its anterior. I put an A next to that. That green, that is the middle discontinuing, right? That's its posterior division. And then go into your inferior or lower trunk. It continues with the anterior in purple. The anteriors are purple. So that purple coming off of your lower is an anterior division. I will put an A. And then that green coming off of it, put a P. That's the posterior. You writing these things down?
Yeah.
Confused.
Now, let's do our chords. The anterior division of the upper and middle trunks merge together. You see how their two purples come together? on your picture? You see that? That is the lateral cord. I will write lateral over that pink line, that top pink line. The posterior division of the middle trunk is actually it's the we won't do that yet. Let's go down to the inferior. We'll do those three last. Let's go down to your lower inferior, or inferior trunk. So its anterior division is the medial cord. So its purple anterior division continues to be the medial cord. On that bottom pink line, I would write medial. It's backwards here, but that's okay. That bottom purple anterior division of the inferior trunk continues on as that pink medial cord. So you should have medial on. I have to put this picture in my lecture. Okay.
On the very bottom one there? Is that what?
That bottom pink line is the medial cord.
This one's gonna be posterior.
Got it? Everybody got that written on top of that pink line at the very bottom? Medial, for the medial cord. All three posterior cords, all three of those green posterior, divisions merge together to form the posterior cord. And it's just that they're coming down like this on this picture. All three posterior divisions come together to form the posterior cord.
I see, it does add up to the
So that middle pink line on your picture is the posterior cord.
So the middle one?
The middle pink line is the posterior cord. I will put posterior on top of that. So let's read down your cord column. Should say lateral, posterior, medial.
I have no idea.
Over in your division column, all the green lines are posterior divisions. All the purples are anterior divisions. Okay, so even here, this is different than what yours will be. Yours is. So that first branch, now we're naming the nerves. That lateral cord will have a branch, the musculocutaneous nerve is coming off of that lateral cord. Okay, see that? Already named for you. And then another branch off of that, there's another branch off of that lateral cord that's gonna merge with a branch off of the medial cord. You see that? Becomes the median nerve. You see that on your picture? So don't look here, look on your. So there's a branch off of the lateral cord and a branch off of the medial cord that merge together to form the median nerve. See that? All right. Let's go to that posterior cord. Because that posterior cord then branches to give us the axillary and the radial nerves. See that?
Okay.
That is the branch. Follow your picture. You tell me what's making the median nerve.
All of them?
Follow that picture.
Next to it?
Oh, just the
Branches
medial
off
cord.
of the lateral and medial cords.
Yeah.
Those two yellow lines merge together to form the
It
median
looks like
nerve.
this. See lateral, medial, and see they come together to make the median.
Yeah. Understand
Medial
that.
cord, its last branch is the ulnar nerve. See that? This is the one plexus that I would have drawn on my cheat sheet.
Yeah, everything's getting
labeled
drawn.
like that.
Everything's
Sorry
getting
that
drawn.
this picture doesn't match you,
This guy.
but have it here, okay? And then as you continue with these plexuses, and this can help, this is just telling you about the nerves. And here it tells you what these different nerves do. And so this will help with answering the question, what happens if there's something wrong with these nerves? Something wrong with axillary, deltoid doesn't work, teres minor doesn't work. You won't have feeling at the skin and the joint capsules in the shoulder if there's damage to the axillary nerve. If musculocutaneous is damaged, we can have dysfunction of biceps brachii and brachialis, coracobrachialis, the skin of your lateral forearm. You won't have any sensation there. Okay? And this is how brachial plexus will then run down as branches. The ulnar nerve, the median nerve, which is what gets pinched in carpal tunnel. Brachial plexus in the body. Brachial plexus always faces characteristic M. If you find that M, you know you found brachial plexus. You know you have the musculocutaneous, median, and what's gonna run down is the ulnar nerve, down the arm. This is a kind of a worksheet like what you have, but different pictures, a different picture of the same thing. You can use it to try to practice. But those are the roots, trunks, divisions, chords. We have your roots, your trunks. I don't know if this matches our picture, but our posterior divisions, our anterior divisions, our chords. Alright, and then all of our branches. Okay? Next class, when is our test?
November 6th.
Is it Thursday?
Yeah, next week.
There's no school on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The 11th?
No, that's the following.
Oh.
Yeah.
But don't we have another, do we have another?
We have the 4th, the 4th and the 6th is a test, and the 11th is school, and then the lab is what, the 13th? The 12th?
Well, next week, Thursday is lecture. The week after that, Thursday is lab. Nothing Tuesday in between.
Tuesday we have lab.
Tuesday is Veterans Day.
No, that's the following.
Oh yeah, next week. Next week we have class. And then that Thursday, exam.
Uh-huh.
Then the next week, Tuesday, no school.
No, but then we have
Okay,
lab.
so next
Then we have
Thursday, we have
lab.
our lecture exam. Okay, which is, that's cool, so that means we'll have time in lab to finish studying for the practical. Okay, cool. Which then you'll have a whole week, because you have, well, you'll have Thursday off the following week.
Every single day.
Tuesday off the
Could be a
following week.
delta.
Okay, you're good to go. So we'll finish this. I just wanted time to finish that.
I guess I'll just focus on that, and then we have 1 week. I'm just gonna come here, get study Monday, Wednesday. Just Monday, Wednesday. Probably 2 hours. Remember, we got the ears.
So we are going from the muscle tissue organization, chapter 10 in the book. Excuse me, nervous tissue. Or nervous tissue, my bad. Nervous tissue, all the way, so that's chapter 14 to spinal cord. I don't think we're gonna get this one, so after this class, we're gonna have one more class.
14 to 15. 14 to 15.
Yeah.
14 to 15? 13 to 15. No.
We'll see what we get done with, yeah, so that we'll keep it, we'll keep it just to the spinal cord.
That's only for the lecture. That's only for the lecture though?
So 14, 15, 16. That is, well, that's the lecture number. The chapters, I'm going by the chapters on the book. Are 14, 15, and 16, the chapters in the book. And all the corresponding lectures, protein A, B, C, D, blah, blah. Brain, spinal cord. Okay?